What can I do to get myself ready for the business and start making money fast? Now, this is a question I have new agents asking me all the time. There's such an overflow of people telling them all sorts of different things that they need to be focusing on. They need to be reading through contracts. They need to be digging into CRM. They need to be uploading all this, all that. There are so many different things that people are telling them to do that are just distracting them from the important things. And so hopefully in this video, I'm going to help you to cut through all the things you don't need to focus on. And I'm going to give you the 6 things that you need to focus on in order to get your business going and start making some money as a new real estate agent. What's going on, guys? It's Frank Kritzman here, and I teach agents all the time how to grow and scale their real estate business the modern way. And if you're a new agent and you want to partner with our record-breaking group and get tons of free resources and surround yourself with people who want to see you succeed, make sure you go down and get my information in the description box below. We'll book a one-on-one call and we'll talk about if it makes sense for you to partner up with us. All right, now we're going to dig into the 6 things that you should be focusing on in order for you to get yourself ready for the business. All right, the first one is to find a local coach or a mentor, team leader, somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can rely on, bounce information off, ask questions on. The reason that this one is so hard to do is because there are a lot of people in this business who are just out there to make a quick buck. There are a ton of coaches out there who are just trying to get your money. And sure, if you're in a traditional brick and mortar office, you can go and ask somebody in your brokerage for your advice. But do you really think that anybody at your brokerage who's like kind of more of a higher performer, do you really think they're going to be at the tip of their seat just ready to give you all of their best performing practices and tools and tricks and techniques to help you grow and help you grow your business? At the end of the day, they are going to be your competition. So if they tell you how to be super productive, well, then that means that you're taking market share away from them. So you need to find somebody who it is truly in their best interest and your best interest to look out for each other and help you grow. You got to find somebody who you can ask those basic questions to. When I was first getting started, I didn't really have anybody like that I could really rely on, and it just kind of stalled out my growth, I think, for a few months. I just did tons of research and learned everything the hard way. It's because I'm very stubborn, and you don't have to do that. I promise you there's an easier way. Just get in contact with me if you need to. I'll help you out the best I can, but find somebody who you can rely on and ask questions to who will help you grow and start your business. The second thing you need to do is find out what motivates you. There's going to be a lot of up times in this business, and there's going to be a lot of down times in this business. And it's easy once the checks start coming in to have that be your motivation to keep going, but you need to find whatever motivates you so that you can keep your head up in those times where it's a little bit more challenging. You're going to encounter setback after setback. You're going to work with people for months and months and months and months, and then once it gets time to buy, they're going to go with somebody else. Or same thing with sellers. You're going to be following up with people for months and getting ready to sell their house. You're going to do listing appointments, and at the very last minute, they're going to switch and go with somebody else. And you need to be able to just completely get that out of your system, and you can be sad about it for like a minute, but you have to be able to immediately just shut that off and keep going. So in order to do that, you need to find out what motivates you. Maybe it's your family. Like for me, it's the drive to want to give my family a better life. So whatever it is, you need to just stay focused on that one thing and make sure you just keep it in the forefront of your mind. Just keep bringing it up, picturing it in your day. Like just keep bringing it up and putting it in your head every single day. Say, this is the reason why I'm doing this. This is nonsense. Today is not a good day, but I'm going to get through it today because this is what I want as my end goal. When you do find that thing that motivates you, one thing that might help you out even more is that you need to stay focused on the actual process and the actual business building and not necessarily the results. So it's good to be really excited about an appointment or a reach out or even a closing, but what you need to do is stay focused on doing those activities that are going to be the day-to-day business building. So if it's YouTube, if you're doing a YouTube channel for your real estate, what you need to do is stay focused on, all right, today's goal is getting that YouTube video done, right? So you want to stay motivated to complete that task, not focusing on the results. You want to be focused on the actual process of doing the work, which kind of leads into the third thing, which is just getting into the right mindset and being patient. You need to stay focused on the activity that is going to drive you to the end goal. And once you figure out what that activity is going to be for you, you need to just keep focusing on pushing it forward a little bit every day. Each day, just focus on what can I do today to make my business a little bit better than it was yesterday? Or how can I just talk to 5 people? Or how can I just talk to 10 people that hadn't heard from me before, and now I have 10 more people who have heard of me in some sort of real estate capacity? capacity. When I was first getting my business started, I basically built it off of cold calling. As soon as I got home from the Air Force every day, I would hit those phones and just call and call and call nonstop. Whatever free time I had, I was calling all the way up until 4 p.m. and that was kind of like my hard shut-off date. But I would just get in the mindset of, I am out here trying to help people, and there's going to be a lot of people that don't want to talk to me, and there's going to be a lot of people that do want to talk to me. I just need to sift through all the people who don't want to talk to me and want to yell at me and swear at me so that I can get to the people who do want to talk to me. I can't tell you how many times in my cold calling days I would reach out to somebody and they would start cussing me up and down. Like this one lawyer started yelling at me and saying that this was the worst way he's ever seen a real estate agent get new business and yada, yada, yada. The very next person I call, they were super appreciative. They're like, yo, Frank, thanks for calling. Hey, I appreciate you giving me that information. Thanks for reaching out. Please stay in touch. If we need you down the road, maybe we can work together. So it's just all about staying in that correct mindset, and the right mindset that you want to get into is just the mindset of helping people and building relationships. That should be your number one focus. Your focus is not wanting money. Your focus is wanting to build a relationship with somebody that lasts for a lifetime, hopefully. If your focus is money, people are going to sense that and they're not going to want to work with you. They're going to think that you're just like a used car salesman, basically. You want to get in that mindset of helping people out. For example, if you want to build your business up with calling expireds and for sale by owners, which I did and works great, and just, if you haven't tried it, I suggest you try it out and see if it works for you. But the correct mindset is not to call them up and thinking in the back of your head, I want to get a listing out of this. The correct mindset when you're calling a for sale by owner and expired, first you want to find out if the person actually has a problem that needs to be solved, because that's what you are, a problem solver. So you want to call them up and find out, do they have a problem that needs to be solved? Most of the time the problem is they need a house that is sold. Then the next thing, are you able to solve that problem? If you are the one that's able to solve that problem, then now you and them haven't. Now you are able to figure out, hey, you have this problem, I have this solution. Can we find a way to work together and make this happen? That's the correct way to think about it. You do not want to be calling people with the mindset of, I want to get a listing. That will never work. You'll never get a listing that way. So the fourth thing you need to do is do some research and figure out which business strategy you want to go down. I wouldn't do more than two. If you don't have any clients at all and you don't have another part-time job, you might be able to go to 3 avenues of business, but you really just want to do 1 or 2. Focus on them hard for 60 to 90 days and see if they're working for you. And then if not, you can make adjustments from there. That's why I might suggest 2, so you don't put all your eggs in one basket and you can kind of mess around and do different things. So here's what I mean by that. So for example, you have direct mailing, you have for sale by owners, you have expireds, you have circle prospecting, door knocking. There's so many different ways to run things. So you want to start working for sale by owners and you want to stick with it for 90 days. If you don't have anything solid after that, well, you're probably just not doing it right. If that's the only thing you're doing, you should have something solid after 90 days. But you want to stick with that strategy for at least 90 days to see if it's going to be productive for you. A lot of times you'll have an agent that will try out a new thing, like they'll start sending out letters, and then after a week or 2, they don't get anything, and then that's it. They quit on that one thing. That one week or 2 section of time that you're using to test out this business strategy, that is not enough time to use as a sample size for your market. I guarantee it. So if you want to go after expireds, do expireds for 60 to 90 days and then make a determination based off of that time frame if it's going to work for you or not. This is why I say maybe 2 or vary at the most 3 different things so you can kind of get a feel for how each different strategy is working. But what you don't want to do is quit and give up on a strategy too soon. That might just take a little bit more skill building for you to be better. Like for sale by owners is a very big skill gap, right? So it takes a little bit of time to get that skill set up, and then you'll be able to start getting those listings. So make sure you just are not quitting too soon. All right, the 5th thing, and I know this is going to be a lot easier said than done, but the 5th thing is don't need the money. And here's what I mean by that. The very first day I got signed up with my brokerage, I asked this super long time salesman. He had been in sales for 50 years. I said, Tom, what's the number 1 piece of sales advice you could give me? And he looked at me and he said, Frank, scared money don't win. And so what that means is if you are needy, if you need that money, you're going to have that, it's called commission breath. People are going to feel that, they're going to sense it, and you're just going to feel icky to them. They're not going to want to work with you. Needing that money is a surefire way that you're not going to get it. I know we all have bills to pay, and a lot of us are out here working to pay our bills and to feed our family, but just remember, you need to make sure that your mind is clear of that. It kind of ties back into my 3rd point of getting into the right mindset, but you need to not need the money. So if in the first part of your business, like in the first year or so, that means that you have a full-time job and you're doing real estate on the side, that is totally fine. Just keep in mind that if you want to get the momentum built in your real estate business, you're going to have to be really hustling and spending a lot of time working if you already have a full-time job. But if you have that full-time job, using that as your main source of income, that will help you to stay away from that commission breath and really not need that money. Another good thing you could do is if you have a great spouse that maybe supports you, you could work on your real estate business while they are working their full-time job. So that's another great way you can set it up. But you need to do everything you can to make sure you are not coming across with that commission breath. Okay, so the sixth thing you need to do is make sure you dial in that listing appointment. You need to be ready to go. If somebody says, hey, Frank, I'm thinking about selling my house. What should I do? You need to know exactly what the next words out of your mouth are going to be, pre-rehearsed, ready to go, and you need to have your whole presentation laid out. And if you've never even done a presentation or have never even heard of what goes into a listing presentation, I promise you it's not what you think. It's not setting up a PowerPoint and going through a bunch of slides. That is not it. Your listing presentation needs to be like 90% questions. It's almost all listening, and you are just asking them questions. You're trying to find out about their situation. You're trying to find about their needs, their wants, their goals, and you are the problem solver. You need to figure out how to meet their objectives and solve their problems. When I was first starting out, I would go through 3 times a day. I would go through my listing presentation 5 times. I would recite it to myself morning, evening, and night, 5 times through, 3 times a day. I did this for probably 90 days until I had my listing presentation down packed. And I'll do the same listing presentation, whether it's a friend or a referral, anybody, random client, FSBO. I have that presentation so dialed in, and I can adjust it and tailor it to an individual needs of a person and kind of tweak it based off of how I feel the conversation is going. But I only got there because I was so repetitive and made sure that I had it set in stone in my mind. Now, it really took me a little bit to kind of get that. It took me a little bit in the beginning to get that initial listing presentation figured out, because everybody in my office, I mean, if you think about it, they're kind of like my competition. So nobody was really chomping at the bit to share with me their listing presentation, which is why I think it's so important to partner with a brokerage and surround yourself with people who want to see you succeed. So if you get into the right brokerage and get yourself around the right people, you're going to have people share the listing appointment. Like with us, if you want to join our record-breaking group, you can partner with me and I'll go through my listing presentation. I'll happily give you the whole thing, step-by-step process, all the questions. We can even practice it together over Zoom. There's just so many other important things when it comes down to picking a brokerage. You want to make sure you're getting the most amount of money you can per deal. You want to make sure you're setting yourself up with a brokerage that will give you actual multiple potential income streams for long-term passive revenue. So if you'd be interested in daily mastermind calls, extensive social media training, and surround yourself with just a ton of agents that want to do everything they can to see you succeed, make sure you go down in the description and get my information. Let's book a one-on-one call and see if partnering together makes sense.